friends, let us do one physics paper, paper 2 multiple choice extended 062522 October November 2019. And our first question is, a student measures the dimensions of cylindrical glass beaker. For which measurement should she use a micrometer screw gauge? Circumference of the beaker, diameter of the beaker, height of the beaker, thickness of the glass wall of the beaker. Micrometer screw gauge is used to measure thickness of sheet or diameter of wire, or you can say very small lengths or thickness. So here it can be used to measure thickness of a glass wall of the beaker. So correct answer is option D. Second question. The graph shows how the speed of car varies during part of a journey. What is the acceleration of car between 6 seconds and 10 seconds? To find acceleration from speed time graph between 6 seconds and 10 seconds, we have to find gradient of line between 6 and 10 seconds. So gradient is equals to 15 minus 10 by 10 minus 6, that is 5 by 4 or 1.25 meter per second square. So correct answer is option C. Acceleration of car between 6 and 10 seconds is 1.25 meter per second square. Third question. A car travels at an average speed of 60 kilometers per hour for 15 minutes. How far does the car travel in 15 minutes? We know speed is equals to distance upon time, but here we have to find distance. So distance is equals to speed into time. Speed is given as 60 kilometers per hour and time is in 15 minutes. So we will divide it by 60 to change it into hours. 60 will get cancelled and we have distance is equals to 15 kilometers. So option B is the correct answer. Fourth question. A box is placed on the ground. An upward force of 15 Newton is needed to lift the box at constant speed. Which row correctly describes the box? Since box is lifted at a constant speed, upward force and downward force are balanced. Upward force is 15 newtons and downward force is weight of the object or box, with that will also be 15 newtons. If we take value of G as 10, mass of the box will be 1.5 kg. And option A is the correct answer. Question 5. The table gives the mass and volume of three objects P, Q and R. Which object can float in a liquid of density 0.85 gram per centimeter cube? For object to float, it must have density less than 0.85 gram per centimeter cube. Let us calculate density of all three objects, that is P, Q and R. Density is equals to mass upon volume. Density of P is 23 by 36, that is 0.639 gram per centimeter cube. Density of Q is 170 by 720, which comes to 0.236 gram per centimeter cube. And R has density of 240 divided by 340, that is 0.707 gram per centimeter cube. So we can see density of all three objects P, Q and R is less than 0.85. So all three will float in the fluid. So correct answer is option D, P, Q, R. Sixth question. A hook is used to lift a metal plate as shown. An upward force of 100 Newton is needed to lift the metal plate above the pivot as shown. What is the weight W of the metal plate? We can see weight W is acting at a distance of 50 cm from pivot and force of 100 Newton is acting at a distance of 90 cm from pivot. So total anti-clockwise movement is equal to clockwise movement. So W into 50 is equals to 100 into 90. So W is equals to 9000 by 50 or 180 Newton. Correct answer is option C, 180 Newton. Question 7. What is the unit of the moment of force? Moment of force is equals to force into distance. Unit of force is Newton and that of distance is meter. So unit of moment of force is Newton meter. Option D, Newton meter is the correct answer. Let's go to 8th question. A ship travels due north through still water at a speed of 20 meter per second. It enters a channel where there is a current in the water from west to east. The speed of current is 20 meter per second. Which diagram shows the resultant velocity v of the ship? We will use parallelogram tool to find the resultant vector. So correct answer here is option C, which gives resultant velocity of the ship along the diagonal of the parallelogram. Let's do question 9. A ball is at rest on the ground. A boy kicks the ball. The boy's boot is in contact with the ball for 0.040 seconds. The average force on the ball is 200 newtons. The ball leaves the boy's boot with a speed of 20 meter per second. Which row gives the impulse of the boot on the ball and the average acceleration of the ball? Impulse will be equal to force by time, that is 200 into 0.040. That gives us impulse is equals to 8 Newton second. Acceleration will be final velocity minus initial velocity by time. Final is 20 and initial ball is at a rest, so initial velocity will be 0. So 20 minus 0 by 0.40 gives us acceleration of 500 meter per second square. So correct answer is option B. Impulse on the ball is 8 Newton second and average acceleration of ball will be 500 meter per second square. Let's do question number 10. An object P of mass 80 gram collides with another object Q of mass 40 gram. After collision, P and Q stick together and then travel on together. Before collision, P is traveling at a speed of 6 meter per second and Q is at rest. What is the speed of P and Q after collision? We will use law of conservation of momentum. Total momentum before collision is equal to total momentum after collision, or m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equals to m1 v1 m2 v2. But here after collision both objects are moving together, so their velocity we will take common v. So we have 80 into 6 plus 40 into 0 is equals to 80 plus 40 into v. That gives us value of v of final velocity after collision 4 meter per second. So correct answer is C, 4 meter per second. Question 11. Brakes are used to slow down a moving car. In which form of energy is the most of kinetic energy converted as the car slows down? A. Chemical energy, B. Elastic, C. Thermal, D. Sound energy. Due to friction applied to the moving parts, most of its kinetic energy will be converted to thermal energy. So option C, thermal, is the correct answer. Question 12. A box of mass 8 kg is lifted from the ground and placed on a shelf. The box gains 100 joules of potential energy. The box falls off the shelf. Air resistance can be ignored. At what speed does the box hit the ground? Mass of the box is 8 kg and it has gained 100 joules of potential energy when it is lifted from the ground. So while falling down, its potential energy gets converted to kinetic energy. So 100 is equals to half mv square. We'll substitute value of m. We have 100 is equals to half into 8 into v square. We get the value of v square as 25, or v is equals to 5 meter per second. Correct answer is option B, 5 meter per second. 13th question. A car is moving along a straight horizontal road. The car has 1.6 megajoule of kinetic energy. The car accelerates for 20 seconds until the kinetic energy of the car increases to 2.5 megajoule. What is the minimum average power developed by the car engine for this acceleration? Formula used here will be power is equals to energy upon time, or power is equals to increase in energy, that is 2.5 minus 1.6 megajoules. We will divide it by time, 20 seconds. We will convert megajoule to joule by multiplying it by 10 to the power 6, which gives us power is equals to 45,000 watt or 45 kilowatt. Correct answer is option C, 45 kilowatt. Question number 14. A drawing pin thumb tack has a sharp point at one end and a flat surface at other end. The pin is pushed into a wooden board. How do the pressure and force at the sharp point compare with the pressure and force on the flat surface? Force at sharp point is equal to force at flat surface, but pressure is equal to force upon area. That means it is inversely proportional to area. Less the area, more the pressure. So area is less at sharp point, so pressure will be more at sharp point compared to flat surface. So option C is the correct answer. Force at sharp point same as that on the flat surface, pressure at sharp point greater than that on the flat surface. Let's see what we have in question 15. The density of mercury is 13,600 kg per meter cube. What is the pressure at the bottom of column of mercury that has height of 75 centimeter? Height of mercury column given here is in centimeter. So we will divide it by 100 to change it into meter first. So now we have height as 0.75 meter. We'll use formula HDG to calculate the pressure. We will substitute all the values and we have pressure is equals to 1.02 into 10 to the power 5 Pascal. So correct answer is option B. Question 16 is our next question. Which row describes the arrangement and the motion of molecules in a gas? We know in gas molecules are far apart and they move freely. So correct answer is option A. Arrangement far apart, motion move freely. Question 17 is our next question. A bubble of air of volume 3 millimeter cube is underwater. The bubble is at depth where the pressure of air inside the bubble is 4 times the atmospheric pressure. The temperature of air in the bubble stays the same as it rises to the surface. What is the volume of air in the bubble as it reaches the surface? Temperature here is constant. We will use Boyle's law. We'll use formula P1 V1 is equals to P2 P2. So we have 3 into 4 is equals to 1 into V2. So we get V2 is equals to 12 millimeter cube. So correct answer is C, 12 millimeter cube. 18th question. The same quantity of thermal energy is supplied to each of 4 blocks. Each block is made from different material. Which block has the greatest thermal capacity? Thermal capacity or heat capacity is the amount of heat supplied to an object to produce unit change in its temperature. The given blocks are made from different material, but they have been given same amount of thermal energy, which has produced temperature rise in block A 1 degree Celsius and in B, C and D temperature rise is more than 1. This means thermal capacity of B, C and D block is less compared to that of A. So we can say A has greatest thermal capacity. So correct answer is option A. 19th question. A liquid turns into a gas. This occurs only at one particular temperature. The change happens throughout the liquid. What is this process called? A liquid will turn into gas in two options, that is boiling and evaporation. But boiling takes place at a one particular temperature, whereas evaporation occurs at all temperatures and the change happens throughout the liquid. So boiling takes place throughout the liquid, evaporation is only at the surface. So correct answer is option A, boiling. Let us see what is there in question 20. In a cold country, a bicycle has been left outside all night. The cyclist finds plastic hand grips feel less cold to the touch than steel handbars. Which row correctly describes the temperature and property of the two materials? First, about the temperature of the two materials. The steel and plastic both are at the same temperature. Next, we have to tell about the property of the two materials. Steel is a better thermal conductor than plastic. Heat will quickly pass on from hand to steel. So hand feels colder. So correct answer is option D. Question number 21. The diagram shows a tent made from a new material. What type of material should the tent be made of to reflect radiant energy from the sun? more reflection takes place from shiny surfaces and white color. So option D is the correct answer. Material texture should be shiny and material surface color should be white. Question 22. A large hill blocks the path between a transmitter of radio waves and a receiver as shown. The receiver picks up the signal from the transmitter even though radio waves do not travel through the hill. A possible way for this to happen is diffraction round the hill. A stronger signal is received using longer wavelengths. So correct answer is option A, diffraction round the hill and longer wavelength. 23rd question. A ray of light is incident on a plane mirror. A student measures the angle of incidence I and angle of reflection R. The student varies the angle of incidence and then plots a graph of R against I. What does the graph look like? As per law of reflection, angle of incidence I is equal to angle of reflection R. So both increase equally. Graph C is the correct answer. Question 24. What is monochromatic light? Light of single amplitude, light of single frequency, light of more than one color, light which travels with a constant velocity. Correct answer here is option B, light of single frequency. Question 26. The diagram shows electromagnetic spectrum. Gamma rays, X-rays, ultraviolet, visible light, infrared, microwaves and radio waves. A word is missing from the label below the spectrum. Which word is missing? A. Amplitude, B. Frequency, C. Speed, D. Wavelength. And the correct answer is option D. Wavelength. The arrow points towards increasing wavelength. Question 26. Which row gives possible set of values for the speed of sound in ice, in water and in steam? We are given three media: ice which is solid, water which is liquid and steam which is gaseous. We know speed of sound is maximum in solids, then in liquid and then in gases. So correct answer is option D. Maximum speed of sound will be in ice which is solid and the speed is 4000 meter per second. Next will be water or liquid. Speed of sound here is 1500 meter per second. And last will be speed of sound in steam which is 500, that is in gaseous medium. So option D is the correct answer. Question number 27. A steel bar is placed in east-west direction for it to be demagnetized. No other magnet is nearby. Which method is not suitable? Correct answer here is option D. Slowly taking the bar out of a coil that carries a direct current will actually magnetize it. So this method is not suitable to demagnetize the steel bar. 28th question. A plastic rod is rubbed with a dry cloth. The rod becomes positively charged. Why has the rod become positively charged? It has gained electron, it has gained neutrons, it has lost electrons, it has lost neutrons. On rubbing plastic rod with a dry cloth, it will lose electrons and become positively charged. So correct answer here is option C, it has lost electrons. Question 29. There is a current of 2 ampere in a resistor for 30 seconds. Potential difference across the resistor is 12 volts. How much energy is transferred in the resistor? Energy is equals to VIT. We will substitute the values of potential difference, current and time. On multiplication we get the answer 720 joules. So correct answer is option D, 720 joules. Question number 30. Identical resistors are connected together to form arrangements X, Y and Z. What is the correct order of resistances of the arrangements from the largest to the smallest? In first arrangement, that is in X, resistances are in parallel. In Y and Z they are in series. For X, 1 upon R is equals to 1 upon R plus 1 upon R and effective resistance R will be R upon 2. For Y it will be R plus R, that is 2R. For Z it is 3 resistances. So R plus R will give us effective resistance of 3R. So correct order of resistances of the arrangement from largest to smallest is first Z, which has resistance 3R, Y 2R, and X R by 2. Correct option is D, Z, Y, X. Question 31. Resistors of 1 ohm, 2 ohm and 3 ohm are connected in parallel with a cell. Which statement is correct? When resistors are connected in parallel, current through them will be different, but difference across them will be same. So correct answer is option A. The current in each resistor is different, but the potential difference across each resistor is the same. Question 32. The diagram shows a circuit component. What is it used for? The diagram shown is that of diode and it is used to allow current in one direction only. The correct answer is A, to allow current in one direction only. Question 33. Which logic gate behaves the same as combination of logic gates shown? Combination of logic gates shown here is that of NAND and NOT gate. Output of NAND gate is 1 1 1 0, and if NOT gate reverses it, output will be 0 0 0 1, which is the output of AND gate. So correct answer is option A, AND gate. Question number 34. Where must a fuse be connected in mains electric circuit? The earth wire only, live wire only, neutral wire only, the live wire and earth wire. It should be connected in live wire only to protect the appliance. So correct option is B, the live wire only. Question 35. The north pole of a magnet is moved into a coil of wire connected to a galvanometer. The needle of galvanometer moves. Which situation must give a smaller galvanometer reading? Number of turns if we increased or stronger magnet will give more galvanometer reading. But here we want smaller galvanometer reading. So correct answer is option B. Use coil with a fewer turns and a weaker magnet. Question 36. A step-down transformer is 100% efficient. It has an input voltage of 240 volts AC and an output voltage of 60 volts AC. The current in the primary coil is 0.5 amperes. What is the current in the secondary coil? Formula here used here will be V1 into I1 is equals to V2 into I2. We will substitute the values, we get I2 is equals to 2 amperes. So correct answer is option C, 2 amperes will be the current in the secondary coil. Question 37. The diagram shows simple atomic structure for two neutral atoms X and Y of different elements. Which row is correct? We have to identify atom with more electrons, atom with more positively charged nucleus. Atom X has 3 electrons, so number of protons or positively charged nucleus will have 3 protons. Atom Y has 4 electrons, so number of protons in the nucleus will also be 4. So atom Y has more electrons and more positively charged nucleus. Correct answer is option D. Question number 38. Plutonium 238 decays by the emission of an alpha particle. Which equation represents the decay of plutonium 238 nucleus? We know when alpha particle is given out, mass number will reduce by 4 and atomic number will reduce by 2. So correct answer is option B. Question 39. A radioactive isotope has a half-life of 8 days. A detector close to the sample of this isotope gives a count rate of 200 counts per minute. Without the source, background count is 20 counts per minute. What is the count rate due to the source after 8 days? Let's see what is given here. Radioactive isotope has half-life of 8 days and the count rate of 200 includes background count. So count rate will be 200 minus 20 as a background count, that gives us 180 as a count rate. But we have to find count it after 8 days, which is also half-life of the isotope. So count it after 8 days will be 180 by 2, that is 90. Since count rate asked is of the source, we will not add background radiation count. So correct answer is B, 90 counts per minute. Our next and last question. Question number 40. Why are some radioactive sources stored in boxes made from lead? Correct answer is option A. Lead absorbs emissions from radioactive sources.